Good evening and welcome to Tinkering with µLab's making of. First off, thanks to all my subscribers on YouTube. I never thought I would hit 1000 at all. This is an important milestone. To celebrate the occasion, I figured I'd make a little making of video and answer some of your questions. So I did record some additional footage in the last project. Here we go! At the beginning of each project, there's a bit of time planning. I have set myself a personal time frame, one new major project every 2 weeks. So far, I manage, at least plus minus a few days. So from my backlog of things that would make nice projects, I pick something that could possibly be finished within 2 weeks. To keep the pace, I usually have several smaller projects on the back burner in case something happens with the main one. I started the HP µLab board for Carpool and did some initial troubleshooting. Once I knew what parts needed replacing, I ordered them, and when I realized that there might be a delay, I did the CNC mill video instead. Overnight delivery in rural Austria is only possible if you live next to the shop, and then only on weekdays with the moon in the right phase. But eventually, I was able to finish the project. Once the project is finished, I sit down and come up with a narrative for the script. Oh yes, how about good evening? Always a good start. And after quite a bit of polishing, the script eventually is done. I decide here whether a paragraph is a floating head narration or any other shot, like a flip chart presentation. I tried live audio once, but it just wouldn't sound good at all. And since I need to replace the stage audio anyway, I record the audio first and lip sync to it later. This is also where the outtakes usually happen, so contrary to some beliefs, the outtakes are real. I just reenact them on stage for the camera. Once I have a working version of every paragraph, I import them into DaVinci Resolve and trim them. That is, I set in and out markers for a voiceover timeline and add marker beeper files in between. The voiceover gets a bit of compression and a slight bit of echo. The finished audio gets put on my MP3 player. This one has hardware buttons, which will become important in a moment. In my workshop, the flip chart presentation needs to be prepared first. And this is where the MP3 player comes in. I connect it to some speaker so that the camera can capture the audio along with my performance. The hardware buttons allow the stagehand to operate it while still holding me up. Lights. Camera. Makeup and action. Every paragraph is on its own track, played on repeat 1, and I can act along. Like with the audio, I usually record 2 versions of my performance to have a spare. After wrapping up, I go back to my trailer and leave the rest of the work to the stagehands, of course, like usually. These paws are sensitive. To tie up the video, if the project allows for it, I film a nice rotation display of the item. And back at the desk, I now can add the video to the voiceover sequence, syncing up the nice audio with the video from the recording session. The floating headshots require some slight effect work. After shuffling about 100 clips around, speeding up shots and adding transitions when appropriate, I export a trial version to check for the timing. And back to fix any dragging or too quick parts. I do aim for about 15 minutes, plus minus a few, but this is YouTube, so that constraint is more like a guideline. The raw footage is usually several hours of video with loads of boring parts. And once the timing is okay, I align all the overlays, put in the music track, adjust audio levels and color grade everything. Now, one final export, and while the transcoding for and uploading to YouTube runs, I can copy the script into a subtitle track, coming up with a bit of a description, chapter marks and thumbnail rounds off the package. Double check everything, discover a missing transition, delete and repeat. Do! And ta-da! Here we go! So yes, the video is about as much work as an average project. But I do like the results, and it's nice that others enjoy them too. So, now on to the questions. I see that quite a few questions were about the tools I use.
What tool is your favorite?
Oh, this is almost like asking a mother which child is her favorite. I can't possibly pick just one. Overall, the ones that I can use over and over again are closest to my heart. You know, some tools will work fine for short-term use, but just fall short in the long run.
What is your most used tool?
That's difficult. I don't keep track, of course, but I'd say my multimeter is the one tool that gets the most usage, unless you count the set of screwdrivers as one tool.
What is a tool you treasure for the history it carries?
That would be the 2 monkey wrenches of my grandfather. They remind me of the good old days when I played in the backyard, taking apart stuff and sometimes even putting it back together.
What is the most underrated tool you love?
That would probably be the wire stripper and crimping plier that most people write off as a cheap gadget. The one I found, Knipex branded, are actually really decent. and they really can trim small screws to length quite nicely.
What is the most useless one you need to keep around just in case?
That has got to be this universal distribution box key thingy. I got it because I thought, oh, nifty, but I never used it. So far.
How do you pick projects to do?
Personal interest mostly. I like old technology and random tools. Whenever I find something that tickles my fancy, I pick it up and put it on the eventually shelf. Every now and then, I also do favors for friends, if the project is reasonable.
Is there anything you can't fix?
So far, everything I started also worked out. Or at least it is still in the queue. I have not yet had any project that I had to give up on. But it was close. There is one Nintendo DS that won't power on and one LCD handheld that needs a new LCD cable attached. But I won't quit yet.
How do you ever keep track of what goes where and how to reinstall it?
This is rather simple. The videos help a great deal. I originally just used pictures on my cell phone, but quickly discovered that I kept forgetting some steps, so I pointed the camera at the workpiece and thought, hey, this might also make good entertainment when edited slightly.
Why do you pre-record the dialogue?
English is only my second language, so I like to focus on either speech or acting to have the best of both for you. Also, the audio quality is much better with the studio mic than with the stage mic. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes excursion. See you next time. Can I come down now?
Why do you pre-record the dialogue?
English isn't... Exactly!